have a significant number of Muslims here as well. Biblically, where did God put Adam and Eve? The Garden of Eden. And what did he tell them to do? Till the soil and what? Take dominion over the earth. From the beginning of time, God had given us that commandment. And so if we don't, then we should see that we do not have a value to the commandment that was given to us, so that we become those that have dominion over everything else. So take our Greek seriously and see our Greek as one of the keys to unlocking the doors of Liberia's transformation. Is it good to use anybody as a mentor? I think not. I have had some young people who have approached me to mentor them, and because I don't see an alignment of our values, I have declined. I don't see maybe an alignment of what I know and understand vis-a-vis their own aspirations and aims. I will say, I cannot, but I can lead you to someone else who better appreciates the industry you work in or your interests that you have, and can be a more valuable mentor to you. So who becomes your mentor? Of course, it must be somebody that you think has something in them that enables you to harness your own potential. Somebody that speaks with you, that becomes the person that hears you out and is able to provide certain guidance and counseling to you. So for me, those are the things I'll look for. I'll ask myself, I want to maybe be a lawyer and I want a mentor. It will be an advantage if the mentor had some understanding of the legal systems or is a lawyer. I want to be an artist, a musician. If you come to me who is tone deaf and who has no clue about the music industry, I can mentor you on values generally, but in relation to that specific sector, I won't have a lot to offer. So you must think through who becomes your mentor. I meet many young people every day who just come up to me. I want you to mentor me. You just met me. You don't know who I am, or what you've seen is what you think I am. There may be something more to me that you like or you don't like. So be careful in who you make your mentor. And don't necessarily be taken in by the flair and the flamboyance of people. Sometimes it is that old lady sitting in the corner who would be the best mentor for you. So in mentoring, it does not necessarily have to be somebody who is out there in the public space. It could be anybody else. But so you need to think about what the person is, the person's values, and how the person can add value to your own aspirations and help you to progress. The biggest resource of a nation, its people. I hope I answered your question. Yes. One Africa, the mechanisms and programs that that Ecowas undertakes here in Liberia. So as a diplomatic mission, we do a lot of work in collaboration with other partners, local and international. I know that in recent times, and we're doing a lot of work with the Liberian Peace Building Office. We're working with the Zogos. We are working with the Kekes and the Pempen drivers. We're working with the tertiary institutions as well. So both in and out of school youth, we do work with them. And then fora like this address young people. And where we are able to gather funding, we're able to support some of the enterprises of young people. But once we move out of elections, my key focus would be on youth and women, particularly in their empowerment through agric and the environment, particularly around the themes of recycling. I see a lot of filth, but this perception of filth or rubbish must change because there is wealth in waste. So we must begin to develop a mindset of wealth in waste and see the treasures in the waste because it has the potential to provide so many jobs, provide entrepreneurial skills, and open up the space for young people to participate in the economy of our country. I hope I've answered all your questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let's go on around and talk, please. Come on, Madam.
I want to tell you my name. My name is Nkrumah. Nkrumah. How many of you know the late Dr. Kwame Nkrumah? Okay, so he is the founding president of Ghana. He happens to be my grand uncle, and he's one of Africa's most visionary, or was one of Africa's most visionary leaders. No.
We would like to go outside of our program a little. We'll ask.
I will leave at 1. I have my next program is 2.
Madam Nkrumah should know that we have started a little.
Okay.
Just answer. So I have a video. I just want to.
Yes, certainly we'll take a picture. I'm sorry I wouldn't get to hear you because ICT is so huge now, and I see like my even my driver, I've tried to get him to go into coding. And I said, I know many young people who didn't go for formal training in coding online.
That's the lady.
Where the
How was the last one? Take a seat, please. Take a seat. Take a seat. Take your seat, please. Take your seat. Take your seat. Take your seat, please. Take your seat. Thank you. Take your seat. Let's have our respected seat, please. Tell guys at the back. Let's have a seat. Let's have a seat, please. Let's have a seat.
So he's still here, right? Yes, okay.
Let's have a seat. Thank you.
The next speaker. No. So for the new speaker. Yes. Madam Kuko. Yes. Yeah.
So, Madam Densa, we appreciate you a lot. Our next speaker would have been Madam Magdalena Cooper, but however, for some busy schedule, couldn't permit her to be here. But she sent a proxy. She is no one else but Matthew Shea. Can you put your hands together for her?
You want this? You take this. Okay.
What's fine?
Can I do this?
Application. Oh man. Okay, that's fine. This is better too. Wow. How you doing?
Some people, okay, that's good. Wow, that's good. First of all, I'm sorry? So first of all, I want to say thank you to the organizers of this program. I think is a very, very important program. Not only that, but it's very timely. It's a very timely program. What I also see here is that this program is a first of its kind, amen? This is the first of its kind. So it really pleases my heart to be a part of this because it's a very, very powerful thing that you have started in this nation. So thank you very much to the organizers for putting this together. I also want to acknowledge Madam Magdala Cooper, who is not here, but she asked that I come and speak in her place. So I'm grateful for that opportunity and just want to acknowledge her. It's very hard to follow these women because they've said just about everything that I have planned to come and say. So I don't even know where to begin. However, I will be able to share one or two things that I hope will be of inspiration to you that you can take back and think about as our emerging leaders of tomorrow. So I wanted to share my story. Madam Victoria came and share her story, which was very powerful. I mean, after a story, we can just sit down. The ambassador too has just given us everything that we need. But I'm going to share my story and my background a little bit, and hopefully that will be of inspiration to you. So I immigrated to the United States several years ago as a young mother. I had a little baby, and I had to travel to America. You know how the story goes. Many of us had been through the Civil War, and some of us had the opportunity to travel abroad. And so I went to America as a young woman, but I was a mother. So when I went to the U.S., one of the things that I had was hunger. I was very hungry for learning because at one point I was sitting in the very seat that you were sitting in, where I didn't have the resources, I didn't have the opportunity to be able to acquire the kind of education that I wanted. So any opportunity that existed, I was so hungry that I was going to go for it. So after immigrating to the United States, I remember this day in the neighborhood where we lived, I decided to scout that neighborhood, meaning to just assess the neighborhood, which is something that I do often when I go places. I try to assess the neighborhood, see what's there, who's there, and things like that. So while scouting this neighborhood, I stumbled on this computer school. And at the time, they were teaching, Microsoft Office and what you call A+ technician course. If anybody's here in IT, they have an idea of what I'm talking about. So A+ course is the course that talks about the inside of the computer, the motherboard, the CPU, all those different things, the hardware. So they were teaching those two courses. So when I saw that, I said, this is my opportunity. I went home and I told my father, I said, I found a computer school in the neighborhood, I want to go there. And so he went with me. Mind you, at the time, I didn't have any experience with computer science. I didn't have any experience with information technology, none of that. Maybe at the time, my knowledge of computer was very basic, very, very basic. And that was so far away because at the time, when I had access to computers, I was much younger. and they were doing, the DOS prompt and all that stuff, but it was so far long ago. And so my father took me to this computer school, and that was my introduction to information technology and computer science. I went to the school, and after I went to that school, I decided to just continue in that line. And today, I have been working in IT for many years, over 10 years, as a database administrator. But the reason why I'm sharing this story is because the topic we're covering today has to do with mentorship. Mentorship is something that is so deeply important to me. It's part of the core of who I am, because I am here today because of a mentor. After graduating from college, acquiring an education, I started to work in the field of IT. But knowing me, there was always this hunger. I've always been hungry. Every time I hit one level, I'm hungry for another one. And so I said this prayer in my heart. I told God, I said, I'm hungry for knowledge. I want to learn. I want to learn more. I want to be more intelligent. I want to be more smart. And so that prayer of my heart was answered. There was a man, his name is Charles. He's one of the most brilliant men that I've ever met. I don't think I have met his kind over the years that I've met people, and I've met a lot of people, a lot of very smart people. This man was so smart. His background is in petroleum engineering. He studied in France, in Paris, France. And we were in the same community because he was an African as well, from Cameroon. We were in the same community, we hung around the same people, but we never really were close. And I didn't even know the depth of how much he knew. So while I'm praying that prayer in my heart, that I want knowledge, I want someone that can impart into my life, because I had a desire to, just to be intellectually strong as a woman. He too had been praying that prayer in his heart, that he had gathered so much knowledge that he needed someone that he could impart that knowledge to as well. And so one day we're having a conversation. I'm telling him about what I do and what not. And I told him what my desire was, that, I was hungry for knowledge and I wanted to learn. This man is so smart that he has depth into different fields. And I've never seen that before. He would talk about biology, and he would talk about it as if he has a degree in biology. He would talk about engineering. He will have depth in it. He would talk about IT. He will have depth in it. He would talk about science. And I was so baffled by that. I'd never seen that before. He was so knowledgeable. And he took me under his wing, and I sat under his mentorship. And it's because of him that I stand here today. He took time to refine. When you graduate from college or high school or whatever, you're graduating, coming out with the ability or the skill to be able to learn, right, to some degree, but there are a lot of things within yourselves that needs to be refined. Like the ambassador talked about, your character needs to be defined. The way you think needs to be enhanced. The way you learn needs to be enhanced. There is a way to learn. You have to learn how to learn, right? You have to know what you know and what you don't know. You have to acknowledge when you don't know and what you need to be able to know. So all these different simple things, well, not simple things, but important things. He took the time to refine me. He knew I was smart, just like many of you are smart, and you can pick up skills, but there was those underlying things. He took the time to develop me. But standing now and looking back, he was developing me for such a time as this. Just how many of you are here and getting ready for such a time as this. I'm sharing this story because mentorship is extremely, extremely important, especially in our nation today. Especially in our nation today. And it's something that I'm very passionate about. All that he has been able to pour into me. I'm passionate also about finding those people, those young women, those young girls, and some men that I too can be able to pour into. And you, at some point, you can be able to pour into other people. So, with all of that being said, I can touch on some of the things that I wanted to say. I wanted to share that story. This may be information that many of you know. There are more than 8 billion people in the world today. And of those 8 billion people, 16% make up the youth of the world. 16%, that's 1.2 billion young people, ages 15 to 24. So we are the largest generation of youth in the world today. We're the largest generation of youth in the world today. And majority of this demographic is in Africa. So you make up majority of the world's population, youth population. In fact, we have the largest in the world of the world's youth population. It's also projected that by 2030, 42% of the youth, of the global youth population will be you, Africans. That's almost 50% of the entire world youth population by 2030. So you may ask yourself, what is the relevance of this information? Why am I sharing this information? I'm sharing this information with you because this is your time. This is your moment. All eyes are on you, believe it or not. All eyes around the world, they're watching you. You are extremely, extremely important, not just to Liberia, but to the entire continent of Africa and the world. Their eyes are on you because you are young and you are strong. You are the heart and the soul, not just of Liberia, but the entire continent of Africa. You are gold. Your minds, your potential, your abilities, they are gold. You are our greatest asset. Not only that, you are our opportunity for change. You are our opportunity to rectify many of the things that our leaders have done that have not been favorable. You are our opportunity for change. Your presence presents opportunities for innovation, for creativity, and for economic growth. With all of that being said, there are challenges, and we're here today gathered because we're hungry for change. We're hungry to see impact. We're hungry to see change in our status quo. The challenges that we're experiencing now, we want some change with that, right? That's why we're gathered here. That's why this event was put together, so that we can talk about How do we deal with these challenges? How do we fix them? How do we rectify them? Your presence is so important. If you never knew before how important you are, not just to Liberia, not just to Africa, but the world, you should know. And many of these challenges are things that we are aware of, the lack of quality education, the lack of opportunities, financial resources, and the biggest of them is the lack of jobs, the lack of employment, which is a crisis. The crisis of unemployment in Liberia is not just a Liberian problem, it's an African continent problem. The problem of lack of jobs or lack of employment, which is what brings me here today. And when I say here, I'm not just talking about the event here, but here to Liberia. So after traveling and having an opportunity to learn and to be able to work in the IT space, I've decided to come back, to be able to take the challenge and create, or take the challenge to be a part of a solution. So we have a problem, but problems present opportunities. You are an opportunity to the world. There are corporations, big corporations, organizations around the world who are aware that you are an opportunity. We see problems, but problems equal opportunities, right? And so, earlier this year in March, I decided to come home and to establish a technology training center where not only to just establish a technology training center, but I see that there is a gap. The training center that's been established is not the only training center that exists here in this country. There are different institutions that exist, little pockets of boot camps and different things that exist. But one of the main problems that I see is that we don't have jobs. We don't have opportunity for employment for the young people. And that is a challenge. That's a huge gap that needs to be bridged. And so not just only establishing a technology training center, but this training center is there to give you technology skills, marketable technology skills, and then provide direct access to employment for you. So in addition to this training center, I also have a technology company that I established. And a huge purpose for establishing that company is to provide jobs for you. Everybody will not go to America. Since the pandemic, we all see the opportunities that exist. Like I said before, problem equal opportunities. Where there's problem, there's opportunities. When the pandemic came, we all see how we're able to all work remotely. Several companies are able to work remotely. Everybody can go to America, but we can be able to create opportunities that can come to you, and you can be able to improve yourself, empower you, and raise you up so that you can become contributors to your society, contributors to your economic growth. One of the things that I wanted to touch on was that these opportunities, they're coming. Right now, we see the challenges, we see the problems, but there are opportunities that are coming. I'm not just the only one. I see a lot coming. But the real question is, are you ready for them? The real question is, are you ready for them? And I'm really glad that the ambassador touched on some of those things and Madam Victoria touched on them as well. There are 3 points that I would like to leave with you while you think about that question. Are you ready for them? Is one thing to desire something, is one thing to pray for something, but it's another thing to be prepared when that thing comes. And that question is a question that you ask yourself, are you ready for them? So one point I want to leave with you is that one of the points is you have to be willing. Willing. The power to will is one of the greatest human strengths that exists. Every noteworthy achievement that human beings have made came from the power to will. The power to see something that low leg is impossible, but the will to know that that thing can be possible. So you have to be willing. You have to be willing to change the way you think. Change your mindset. Yeah, it's been like this forever and ever, and this is where you come in as emerging leaders. You are the leaders that change how things have been done over and over and over again, but it has to come from that willingness to change it, irrespective of what it looks like, irrespective of the fact that it's been done like that over and over and over again. That thing will never change you. When you go, we know where the country is generated. We have to be willing to change the way we see it. And the way we see it will change. Another point that I wanted to also stress is you have to be available. You have to be available. Availability is a major factor in measuring reliability. You have to be present. You have to show up when you say you will show up. You have to establish good communication. You have to show up on time. Ambassador mentioned that. Wasted time is more valuable than wasted money. We have to value our time, as she said. When these opportunities are presented to us, we have to be there. We have to be present. We have to be committed to it. It's not going to be easy. And the way we do it all the time has to change. If someone is there to provide something or resources, you have to be available and you have to be on it. You have to be on time. You have to be hungry. And you got to be curious. And you have to take leadership. Meaning don't just wait for everything to just be presented to you. Take some initiative. Right? And then lastly, you have to be ready. You have to be ready with the skills that you need to deal with what lies ahead. Right now, there's no more downtime. This is our time. This is our moment. Are we ready for it? Are we going to step up to it and seize this opportunity so that we don't lose it? So these are points that I wanted to leave with you. You have to be willing, you have to be available, and you have to be ready. So thank you very much.
Thank you
Very much.
very much. Background is too small. There are beautiful things that are not there. I'm going to hold down for that. Let's go along.
Thank you.
Clap. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
I'm privileged today to have a guest, one of my former colleagues, as a daughter. Thank you. So, on our list, we have our next speaker, who is in person of Ambassador Thomas T. Bono, founder, executive director, Hope for Young People Incorporated. Give me a hand of applause. Clap. If you don't clap, one people will not clap for you. Thank you.
Sorry, I want to welcome one of our speakers, Mr. W. Lawrence Yelu. Mr. Yelu is the country director for Accountability Lab Liberia, a watchdog organization for corruption in control. And today we have been to a pleasure. Put your hands together for him. You know, they say, my brother said, experience are sweet. Except you will not kill it. When you go to the school, after you want to teach sweet. But if you never the time today, you will know why you come here. Thank you so much. And Mr. Odo, you can take it back now.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It is a great pleasure and honor to be here this day. Let me extend my regards to the platform guests, and I'm a commend you for the work that you are doing to help better the young people of this country. My dear young people, you all look great. It's good to be here this morning. I love you all. Some time back, I was invited to serve as a keynote speaker on a program. And I start to express my love and affection for the young people. There was an elderly man in the midst who felt intimidated by the expression of my love for the young people. And after the program, he walked out of me. He said, "My son, you got me shy in the maze." And I was actually speechless from the way you expressed your love for the young people. As an elderly man, I see it as while we think age discrimination. I said, no, that what I was saying is just the fact. So I gave him this scenario. I said that if I was to bring two videos right now, one of these videos came from the 1995 model and another one from 2020. Which one are you going to go for? He said, son, I will go for the 2020. I said, but that's just it. Because when you are young, you are powerful. You are mentally awake. You got more strength and energy. But listen to me. At times you will see one video from 2005 and another one from 2020. And the 2020 will be less fit. The 2005 will be better fit, fully running, and well prepared. While the one from 2020 is down, cannot move. You know what happened? That's the care. That's the care. So in short, young people, what I'm trying to say, you should care for yourself. You need to care for yourself. The better you care for yourself, is the better your life going to be. That's just how it is. Most of the time I tell people, if this generation, this current generation, will fear this nation, when I get to heaven, I will ask God why. Why you created Liberia? Yeah. I will ask God why. There's no again ask God. But if this current generation, with all these wonderful programs, a lot of opportunities that are floating around, moreover, the internet are making it accessible to us. If we feel this nation, then no, I don't think Liberia needs to be on planet Earth. On a very serious note, go and ask all of these people who are currently in position of leadership, our current leaders, when they were like you and I, if there are opportunities of such, go and ask them, how many times they gather in such a gathering to listen to what we are listening to today? How many times? So we have to make use of this opportunity. Listen to me. I just have to motivate you a bit. I'm now a key speaker on this occasion. I just invited to motivate you a bit. But listen to me. Opportunity plus preparation is what people call luck. You get me? Opportunity plus preparation, that's what people call luck. For instance, this morning, only happened downpour of rain. Some of you took the advantage to say, I have to be at the conference. Right? We were on your way coming, right around your community, you're opportune to have borrowed with someone at $1,000 US on the ground. You take it, put it in your pocket. Somebody on the other say, yeah. But they got lucky. But what happened? You are not in your bedroom and the morning met you there. You are prepared to walk out of your bedroom, and while walking, you know what? Opportunity. Somebody call it love, but me, I call it blessing. Yeah. So, what are you doing with your time? I repeat, like the first speaker measure our time. What are you doing with your time? Just take a moment, think about this question. What are you doing with your time? How are you spending your time? Are you using your time aimlessly or purposefully? It is not yet late. What are some of those things that you have been into that have been wasting your time? You can still make a U-turn and right the wrongs. The time is now. The time is now. The time is now. The reason for which there are a lot of programs, there are a lot of seminars. But let me tell you something. Everybody won't work. Everybody won't work. Years back in Maryland County, there was a company that was operating. And a lot of young people, they want to work. They start protesting one job. They company cannot be here. We can work. We the young people one job. That morale was a then superintendent. So the officer of superintendent said, okay, no problem. We approach the investors. People say, okay, no problem. We have a lot of jobs. So then the young people get ready, we'll give a test. But when they put a minute on the test, almost 100 plus persons. Only 5 persons qualify. We want job, but are we prepared? As a youth development specialist, I know that there are two things. youth development and youth empowerment work hand in hand. Hand in hand. You cannot be empowered when you're not developed. Right? Have you ever seen somebody big horse that hanging? They got to start from the foundation. Then as the beauty of the horse will show. So you got to put your time into use. Don't walk aimlessly. Aimless walking is in connection with the devil. Go read Job chapter 1. Yeah? When I don't want to be religious biased. Let me just say this. I'm a Christian. When God asked Satan, say, Satan, what are you doing in our midst? He said, what are you doing in our midst? He said, I'm from walking to and fro of the earth and walking all about in it. What happened? You know, a Pacific area, right? He said, what? To and fro. So at the end of the day, you just start gossiping about people free. And that's what you do. We just walk. Even next time, go see that someone at the center. I don't know, we just start gossiping. So you have to make use of your youthful age. This is your prime time. Do not let this opportunity pass you by. From the book, Rich Dad Poor Dad said, if you are born poor, blame your parents. If you die poor, blame yourself, and your children also blame you. So there is a need that you put yourself to work. You can do anything. If I told you that from 4th grade to 10th grade, I first Copa to go to school. You know Copa, right? You can go on first Copa to go to school. A lot of people you see here today, they have a lot of great stories that they are sharing with you to motivate you. We've all been there. I remember we that were born during the heat of the Civil War. We've been there. Some of you, some of us, we never knew what you call breakfast. Now, kissing me also we can feel our children 8 o'clock from that's where you go to bed. I can't level grow up in. So the reason we put ourselves in this opportunity to help to bring all the young people up. To more young people, to more the mass of young people. Right? To more the mass of young people. In all you do, remember that there is a tomorrow. And the tomorrow depends on the preparation of today. Yes, no, man. Don't depend on what you are hoping on tomorrow. Somebody depend and say, I'm hoping. Don't depend on what you are hoping on for the future. Make use of what is in your hand now. What is in your hand can lead you to what you want for the future. Eh? If you have here $1,000, start selling mini. Don't say me, I know. Yes, school I'm going to. I'll be a millionaire tomorrow. So I'm just rushing myself. Start making use of our $1,000. Start multiplying. That will lead you to where you want to be tomorrow. There are a lot of opportunities. There are a lot of programs. And you have to make use of it. You have to put the time into use. You have to be an asset and not a liability. Be an asset, you got to start from yourself, your community, your family. Many of you today, you are serving as an ambassador. When you go out there, try to mentor someone, provide mentorship for someone. It's like even 2 persons dedicate their time to community service, right? To mentor young people. It's part of community service. Don't let the young people be wayward. I'm an anti-just activate. That's why I'm famous in Liberia. If you listen to most of the radio, I'm also the president of the fan club of OKFN, Thomas Tamabondo. And if you listen to most of the time the radio, I talk about just. When I was organizing my own organization, bringing young people together, I met one guy. He's a government official. I thought he would help me in the process. I said, brother, the thing that is going on the proliferation of drugs and all the illicit substances in our country is alarming. And want to take charge, want to help just government effort. How can you help us? He said, I mean, you want to waste your time. He said, in fact, people plenty and no job in this country. Let the men is poor. When the men is poor, we are son living, we want to bring our job. But listen to me, no happy. When I tell you explain, you go listen to me. 4 days later, at Banana Junction, the gas stove is full. He can't explain to me. I said, no, gentlemen, let the men is poor. Let the men is poor, right? Those guys will be societal liability and societal burnings. That just may impact our children and generation will come if we not stand up. So thank you. We have a lot of exchanges. I have a radio schedule at Ecowas Radio by 2, so I'm preparing to go there. The organizer have my contact. We have a lot of exchanges. If you even mentoring people in your community and you want us to provide some guidance, you can help us. If you want to read my number, you can take it. 0777 51 31 54. Thomas Tamabundo, former executive director Hope for Young People Incorporated, 2021 Youth League ID ambassador to Liberia. Thank you. Have a blessed day.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now, please clap then.
Thank you. Yeah, you have No. Oh, okay. No, I'll be there now. For you.
Next speaker on this program.
I don't know, be in contact. If you probably then my show time and then I'll come back.
My own self.
Okay, man. I can have
Obi,
Yes. Yeah, let me hear you.
Yeah, thank you. Let me say thank you for asking. I think the only person asked was the Ecowas ambassador. And I believe the speaker, all of the speakers, gave their thoughts concerning mentorship. It also be necessary to ask them questions.
okay. Thank you very much. So we ask the next speaker to wait a little bit, and if you have questions, so the ambassador. We have 2 speakers here. We have 2 speakers here. So for everybody that is here right now, for these 2 people, we ask that we want to limit ourselves to 3 questions. 3. 3 for her, 3 for this lady. So that's it. So if you still follow what she said, Madam Matthew and Madam Victoria, if you still follow, then you can ask questions related to what she asked. So, the podium.
Yeah, thank you. My name is George Jokon. Yeah, of them. George Jokon. And I want to firstly give thanks to the organizer for this great initiative, because it will help us, we the young generation. And we are glad that the organizer of organization is taking the step. We believe today in our country, China, concerning the house secretary, is also helping the help China to also help Liberia. My question June to Madam, I don't probably not pronounce the name well in some actually inspiring for also out the years or the civility. My point, Victoria for sure. Yes, Victoria. We have.
Please just go straight to the question. Straight to the question you have for her. Ask her. Yes, straight, because we don't have much time.
We want to say thanks for the story. It was inspiring. But Liberia major problem. There are 60% of electoral. And you are going in the electoral, or your ambition are based on the electoral. So you want to know policy that you will be able to bring forward the electoral for the young people benefits.
Thank you. No, let's take it one at a time. Another person want to ask question. Yes, the right that address that one first. Yeah, because we have to give other people the opportunity. So if you are asking question, be precise, straight to the point. You are white, now you black. Thank you. What can you do about it? That question right there. Please.
No, we have one person. Okay. Go ahead.
Hello everyone. I'm Princess Nkrumah. We are my country. One of the national. So my question is this. Right now, I have the out of our speakers. I don't know what I'm going to do because it's not working. My question is, why can we do as agents of change when to move our biology systems out of the especially create drugs to
Thank you.
Well, whoever will stand before you, sit on Joe. And I want to say thanks to the organizer of this program, and also a big thanks to my manager, Israel and Logo, who always there checking for workshop.
To the question.
I will always be elevated. My question goes to the 10th speaker. She was speaking on where there is problem, there is opportunity. I want to understand how can you be going through problem like you fighting war and then you get opportunity, how did this opportunity come? Thanks.
Thank you.
My name is Harrison Rabojo. I have a question to Madam Victoria West. Simple and fair about our country. I would like to know what is the agenda that brings forward to the young people of our country.
Excuse me, please. We can take that other question. The other question is not accepted. Good afternoon. Quiet, please. Attention. Attention, please.
Hello. You know, when the ambassador was here, she spoke of respect. Please, let's have it quiet. Let's have it quiet. The only thing that should be talking here is your pen and paper. If you have a question, write it down, and I'll walk to you. Thank you.
Alright, I'm quick on football. My question was to test target and forget you. They spoke about technology training, and I wanted to please. That was the audience thing. That was where we had we can involve ourselves with the technology.
That will be the last question for now, so it can be redressed. Because we have other teachers on the platform. Because of time.
Please. Fellows, let's have it quiet.
Alright, greeting to everyone. I really please let everybody ask a question because this is here, I said that I'm here. So everybody ask a question. My question is what do you do difference when it comes to leadership from others? I don't.
Thank you. Quiet, please, quiet. Because the question.
Therefore, that's all you want sentence. In 1 second, call it off because we're not going to political rally. Be right there. Yeah.
So the young men are just asking the question that, when you're experiencing war, where is the opportunity? So anytime you have a problem, there is an opportunity to solve that problem. To create that topic, so anytime you have a problem, there is a need for a solution. So the opportunity is providing that solution to the problem that exists, right? So that's the point I was making, but I can try to give you an example of what I'm talking about. I mentioned that Africa has the largest youth population, and a lot of them are not skilled. Some of them are skilled, but not all of them. And then there is the issue of jobs, right? I mentioned the issue of jobs. And this is not just a Liberia problem, this is an Africa problem. I want to read you something quick from a report. It says the world is experiencing a tech talent crisis. In the U.S. alone, there were 920,000 unfilled information technology positions and fewer than 50,000 computer science graduates to fill over 500 roles in 2020. In the same year, 79% of CEOs globally have concerns about tech talent shortages, and 61% of HR professionals around the world believe that tech talent shortages will be their biggest challenge in 2022. Now, there is a problem that exists in Liberia, in Africa, right? There is an opportunity for me to bring a solution to that. And that's why I'm here. To develop marketable tech talent that can respond to that problem, that need. So I'm solving the problem, or my intent for being here is to solve the problem of the lack of talent here and to match the solution for the problem that exists there. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
It makes sense?
Yeah.
Well, the next question he was asking, how do we, right now we're just starting. We have our facility on 20th Street. So we're going to be recruiting more people right now. We've already recruited our first cohort, and our focus is on women and girls first. But next year, we're going to be recruiting both men and women. And hello, okay, so we're going to be recruiting. So we're going to be recruiting both men and women, and we're going to be training them in skills that are marketable. And what I mean by that is, you're not just going to be learning everything that's in IT. So there is a need, perhaps in a company, there is a project that needs tech talent in cybersecurity. So we're going to train you for the market that's available for that talent. Then solving that problem, but also solving one problem of a lack of skill, and also the problem of the lack of resources. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
I'll answer your question. So next year, we'll have an inclusion of both men and women, but this cohort is just focused on girls, and we're providing them.
Thank you. Thank you. Check it out, man. That's bad, man. That's too early for them. I'm not expect for this.
This one is on, right?
Yeah.
Thank you. I will stay, and I want to say that everyone is entitled to their question, and everyone is entitled to the answers. And also, everyone is entitled to how they understand the answer. So I will not tell anybody here that don't ask me any question. You can ask me any question here. You can ask me any question after here. Even when I'm on the radio, you have the time, call in and ask all of the tough questions. Before I start answering your questions, I was asked this question after I explained to everybody that I lost my husband, and somebody said they had no other question to ask me. They said, "Oh man, all the thing you're talking, so you want to tell me since that time how you been living?" But nobody's stupid yet, man. So you know what I told them? I said, hey, any man you want woman, then you go ask the woman, you get man, then you not correct man. Just walk straight to that woman and say, I want you. Nobody's stupid, yeah? So when that woman engaged, and the woman will tell you, say, I got my partner. Why you want to be asking the woman, go there? So I just want to say that. So let me go to your questions and answer them. And I want to tell the organizers, you made it clear. I was reading the goal of this section today, and I was looking at the kind of personality you invited to this program. You invited young people. I have been a young person. You invited human rights advocate. I am a human rights advocate. You invited women. Yes, I am a woman. You invited politicians. So when politicians appear and you have the young politician, they won't ask the older politician, why stop them? So your question is valid, but we don't have the appropriate time to talk more about our platform. So we'll just summarize. And this will lead us to the other question that talk about Liberia problem being the legislature, because this will form part of my platform. So all of the questions you you ask, I link to just one. My platform, the legislature, at Liberia, biggest problem. What do you bring on the table? I have more than 20 years of experience, like I said to you. In this country, I have worked in almost all of the counties. Out of the 15 counties, something going on. Something going on? Something happening? Oh, okay. So, it's okay now, right? So, you can't want your move from here, you go say, don't see that fan oh man, she know nothing. I know you will not say it. Yeah? Okay. So, in Liberia, we have 15 counties in Liberia. I have worked in almost all. I have slept in 12 counties in Liberia. I understand. But we cannot speak with. Yeah, but we cannot speak with this. There is the yeah, that thing over it because music can be playing. Music playing. I listen. Come again.
Hi, Mama. How is it? After seeing
The music playing.
yeah.
What?
No, you were reading on
They have a program up there. They have a program up there. I tell you, you're supposed to go and tell the people. Oh, but they're having the same speaker here.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.